And I believe this will be the Casey's General Store Midwest Modified B main rolling out. Top 4 will go to the A main. 12 laps will be the distance. 14 cars in this race. Steve Wharf in car number 42 leads the field out. On his inside, it'll be Kyle Bates out of Springfield, Missouri. Driving the Green Lawn Funeral Homes, number 74. Jordan Goddard out of Rogersville, Missouri in car number 53. On his outside, it'll be Ty Jackson in the Guts to Go, number 0. Chris Woodruff in car number 03. Will Hibden out of Joplin, Missouri in car number 6H, that is. I believe that's a new race car. Good-looking hot rod right there. Tim Mullins, after having trouble in the heat race, will have to come in through a B main. Same story for a few more of these drivers. Corey Carter out of Elkland in car number 28. Sanderson in the 21. Gary Krebs in car number 26. Kenny Walker in car number 51. Jaron Martin in car 3366. Jared McIntyre starts deep in the field in car number 9 along with Gilbert Rowland. And a little bit ugly on the start there, and Ronnie Williams says no start, so we're going to try it one more time. And I tell you what, we've got some good cars in this field right here that are not going to make the A main. Jared McIntyre, after being DQ'd in the heat race, is having to start deep in the field along with Gary Krebs, Tim Mullins. Several good race cars way back at the back. Here we go, green in the air. You're going to see some aggressive moves as some of these guys know they got to get it done in a hurry. Jared McIntyre, one of those cars, as he's already picked up several spots, and he's going to work on the top side, still passing cars up on the top of the speedway. Gary Krebs trying to move his way forward in car number 26 as Ty Jackson spins to the inside. That'll be a tough break. We're going to stay green, and Ty Jackson has got a good car and will not go to the A main. He is on the infield as we got another spin up in turn number 4. Caution is out. And this is a break for Ty Jackson because they did not get around to complete that lap. So Ty Jackson, if he can get that car refired, will still be on the lead lap. He will be at the back of the pack, but he still does have a shot. So we'll restack them and reset the field. Now let's look out at the field. Some of the cars that have made some big moves already. Jared McIntyre has passed several cars, but he's still a long ways from a top 4. Tim Mullins also a long ways out of that qualifying position. Gary Krebs in the Absolute Roofing number 26 car has made some big gains, and I believe he'll be restarting in the number 4 position in car number 26. So things are going his way right now. Will Hibden, I believe, will be out in front of the 51 of Ken Walker. Kyle Bates in a great position right now, out in front. In the Green Lawns Funeral Homes, number 74. Steve Wharf also in a good position. He rides second. Jordan Goddard in third. Krebs in the final transfer position as of right now. Once again, keep your eye on Jared McIntyre. He was passing cars like they were sitting still as he was working the top of the speedway. You gotta pass them where they ain't. Here we go, off turn number 4, gonna be a dandy. Top 4 qualified. Jordan Goddard slides up to the racetrack. Top of the racetrack on the start. That opens the door for Gary Krebs. Krebs to 3rd, and Steve Wharf hunting the lead. Coming off turn number 4 down the front stretch. Kyle Bates side by side with Steve Wharf. Gary Krebs up into 3rd, Goddard 4th, Kenny Walker 1 spot out of a transfer position. 16 of Tim Mullins moving up nicely. He's got a couple of more cars to pass if he's going to make it into the A main. Oh, trouble again over in turn number 4. And I did not see that transpire, but it is caution for the number 6. And looks like he may have a left rear tire down on that machine, but what a battle up front with Steve Wharf and Kyle Bates. Gary Krebs took advantage of Jordan Goddard. Goddard slid high on that start, opened that bottom lane for Gary Krebs, and that's all she wrote is Gary Krebs goes to 3rd. Jordan Goddard still in that final transfer position. That may be Austin Treadway in car 6T. Don't have a name on him right now, don't believe, but I believe that may be the Treadway machine. Ken Walker 1 position away from a transfer into the A main. Tim Mullins 2 positions out. Jared McIntyre still got to pass several cars if he's going to make it into the A main after winning his heat race but being DQ'd. Steve Wharf leads him in nice and smooth. He's got a good hot rod. Jordan Goddard again way up the track. That opens the door, this time for Ken Walker. Ken Walker down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to take advantage. Goddard fighting back on the top side. Meanwhile, Jared McIntyre still working that rim, making progress, trying to go forward in that 9. Ken Walker in the final transfer position. Here comes Tim Mullins as Ty Jackson goes around in the 0 car. Caution out again. Second time Ty Jackson has gone around in the guts to go 0 car. Track a little slickery down there. We talked about the wind a little bit earlier, really drying this old racetrack out. And Jordan Goddard going to the pit area, car number 53, had fallen out of a transfer position by about 2 spots and now heads back to the pit area. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, while we have a quiet moment, we have a car out in the parking lot with their lights on. It's a green Ford Taurus, SE. License plate FP1X9C. Green Ford Taurus SE FP1X9C. If that's your car, your lights are on and your battery is saying, I'm running down, I'm running down. All right, looks like the lineup is good. They'll single file restart with Steve Wharf out in front. Kyle Bates still in second. Gary Krebs hanging on to third. This time the final transfer position is in Ken Walker's hands. But Tim Mullins 1 spot out and Jared McIntyre only 2 positions out. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Top 4. Steve Wharf, the only car going to the top of the racetrack, and he made it work. Good run off top of the banking in turn number 2. Back out in front. Wharf again using the top side down in turns 3 and 4, and looks like caution again. Gilbert Rowland this time going around in car number 24. And Tim Mullins was really starting to put some pressure on Ken Walker, and Jared McIntyre also putting on lots of pressure. All right, going green this time. Steve Wharf using the top side, leaves that bottom lane open, but so far nobody able to take advantage. Down the backstretch, Steve Wharf now opening up a pretty nice lead, making about 6 car lengths for the 42 car. Kyle Bates closing up though as he comes off turn number 4. Back down to the bottom of the speedway for Bates and Krebs. Ken Walker in car number 51 able to hold on to that top 4 position as of right now. Tim Mullins, Jared McIntyre, 2 cars just outside that top qualifying position. A lot of smoke coming out of that 74 car. We'll keep an eye on Kyle Bates. Gary Krebs hanging on to 3rd. Oh, problems for Steve Wharf. Tough break for the leader. Steve Wharf off the pace. Tough break for 42 of Steve Wharf, and that really changes things up because that opens up a starting position in the A main for another driver. Right now, that would be good news for Tim Mullins. Jared McIntyre with a little bit more breathing room. He only now has to pass 1 car. All right, Steve Wharf getting help off the speedway. Man, I hate to see that. Steve was really running nice out front in that 42 machine. So we'll restack the field with Kyle Bates this time out in front. Gary Krebs inherits the 2 position. Ken Walker 3rd, Tim Mullins 4th. That's your top 4. And Jared McIntyre 1 position out. And I'm telling you, one of our really good cars is going to go home. All right, they get the one to go signal this time by. They'll come around and get the green. Again, this is the first night of our points season. The points start adding up tonight, and that's why this race is so important to these top 4 or 5. All those top 5 out there are regular runners here at Springfield Raceway, so if they don't make the A main, they're 1 race behind right out of the chute. Here we go, coming off turn number 4. Restart's going to be important. Single file, the restart looks good. Kyle Bates down on the bottom of the speedway. Gary Krebs in his tire tracks. Kenny Walker about 3 car lengths back. Tim Mullins hanging on to the 4th spot. Here we go off turn number 4. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Gary Krebs looking racy as the 74 car looms just ahead of him, and here we got a battle for that number 4 position. The final transfer spot. Jared McIntyre going to the top of the speedway, trying to pick it up. Ken Walker slides all the way to the top of the racetrack, and it's going to be, wow, what a finish. Kenny Walker, I believe, just barely held on to that top 4. Yeah, and it is Ken Walker. Coming off turn number 4, Ken Walker got all kinds of out of shape way up to the top of the racetrack. That opened the door for Mullins, but it also held him up just a little bit, I do believe, and that helped out the McIntyre machine as he picks up 2 spots. What a race right down to the end. So